welcome to Labor Lens. I am Sharon Ijason. On this week's episode of the program, we have interesting news stories for you, and we'll be discussing about the International Women's Day, which was celebrated across the world. We will be right back. It all started at the NLC Secretariat in Abeokuta as workers from different fields displayed strong determination to take a walk to the governor's office. After waiting for a few hours with no positive nod from the leadership of the NLC, the workers proceeded to the streets before the labor leaders swiftly came out of the governor's office to address them.
We are here to work for them and get their issue resolved. They are aware that we came because of them. That's the only essence that we are here, and we look at the issue of every worker across Nigeria as important as the issue of workers of Ogun State. Every worker is important to organized labor because we believe that injury to one is injury to all, and that's why we are here. So they should continue to work together, they should continue to be united, and they should continue to ensure that the unity of purpose is maintained.
Some of their grouses border on non-remittance of statutory deductions from workers' salaries and pensions and non-utilization of the last tranche of the Paris Club refund for payment of gratuity to both state and local government workers since 2013. This, they say, is despite signing of a collective bargaining agreement with organized labor in the state. Others include refusal to pay salary arrears of workers at the Tai Solarin College of Education that has accumulated for the past 10 years and now grosses to a financial liability of about 9 billion naira. The two parties later resolved issues and the state governor signed an agreement with NLC leadership to the effect. The reinstated chairman of the NLC in the state spoke on the outcome of the meeting.
Again, on the issue of cooperative, he told us in categorical terms when he's going to pay. And he told us how he has profiled the money and where the money is. And we were able to also see the sincerity in that agreement. And again, the issue of Tasketu was extensively discussed. The need to proscribe the union, the in-house union there. He also told us what led to it. That they are is very close to that institution, is one of the institutions that is there, very dearest to his heart. And we should know that in Ogun State we have so many institutions. Why is Tasketu having that challenge? But at the end of the day, too, in the spirit of give and take, he considered that the subvention will be released regularly henceforth.
Despite the signed agreement by the governor, the inscriptions written on placards displayed by workers indicate that there might be a reoccurrence of such action if their demands are not met.
As Nigerian women join others to celebrate the International Women's Day, Industrial Women has tasked women and girls to balance for better, to accelerate gender parity and say no to discrimination. Chairperson of the Industrial Global Nigerian Council Women Committee, Comrade Oluchi Amogu, at the union celebration said all humanity should rise up to say no to violence and harassment against women and girls.
The theme for this year is Balance for Better. I encourage men to help women balance for better so that we'll be moving side by side. We are saying no to discrimination. We are saying no to gender-based violence. We are saying no to rape. We are saying no to girl-child abuse. We are saying no to girl-child marriage. So I use this opportunity to tell our women, let's continue in the struggle so that we'll be able to balance for better. This year is a special one because we invited students from various schools.
The event kicks off with a rally and awareness walk by the Nigerian affiliates of Industrial Global Union. The affiliates include the National Union of Textile, Garment and Tailoring Workers of Nigeria, the National Union of Chemical, Footwear, Rubber, Leather and Non-Metallic Employees, the Chemical and Non-Metallic Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengasan, the Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, the National Union of Electricity Employees, Steel and Engineering Workers Union, and Octobet.
It's very important. You're talking about balance for better. Now, if you look at the word balance, there cannot be a balance without the agreement of the parties involved, isn't it? Yes. So to achieve a balance, if there are two of us, the two of us must agree. Obi? Now, in the union, what we see in the union is what? We see both men and women in the union, in the workplace. In the society, we are just two sexes, men and women. So what we're saying with the team is what? We're asking that there should be a balance. There cannot be a balance if one person is standing. Can you balance on one leg? No. So we need the cooperation of the two. Our unions must become more inclusive. That's what we are saying by this team.
The 8th of March is the International Women's Day, set aside to celebrate the achievement by women globally and has been faithfully observed for more than 100 years.
Nobody be like us, nobody be like us. Hey, oh, and they women are
There is no gainsaying the fact that over the years women have consistently sought for better recognition in a dominating world of men. One of the most significant roles of women is perhaps keeping up family values. Today, women are striving daily to be appreciated not only as wives and mothers, but also as competently skilled and qualified individuals fit for roles outside the home. The dynamic role she plays as a wife, mother, and a working woman places a load of responsibilities on her, which some may say is a hindrance to reaching her full potential. Varying impressions are held by men when they talk about women, some encouraging, others demoralizing.
These days, I believe the women are even more active than some men. If we should start taking the statistics, you will see that more women are even the one taking care of the home.
Against all odds in today's world, women are not giving up. In Lagos, one of Africa's leading commercial cities, there appears to be no difference between the sexes, as women take up even jobs traditionally thought to be exclusive to men. Tolani is a 47-year-old widow and a mother of 6. She shares her touching story in her daily struggle for survival.
My husband don't die. I don't get husband. I dey feed 6 children for house. But I thank God say I be woman for myself. Woman no lazy like me. Woman like me, they also like me. I not dey lazy. The work with my man they do am. If I see say they pursue for where we dey sell my car, go find another work, go also. Go site, go work. So I not be lazy woman, they work.
55-year-old Adironke is another woman who has decided to challenge the dominating world of men by doing a job mostly peculiar to the men. She rides a tricycle to support her family.
To sell markets, no markets. If you don't have anything to do, if you see something like this, you can manage. It's not for only men. Women can ride it. It's not good for women to sit down for house so that if you want buy soap, my husband will give me money. You want buy pint, you want buy the salt. No, it's not good like that. In the Marwa money, I support my husband. If you food, you know, I go buy before my husband get money. So that's why I do my own. I go cook food. before my husband refund the money back to me. I know if you do office work, now business might be my own because my mouth don't wide. Tell you understand, how much them go pay me? Oh, less if they pay me 100,000.
For those who work in offices, there isn't much difference as the challenges of striking a balance in their work life and homekeeping continues to grow.
Women have been described as an important part of the society, but much more than that, the need for women to get equal opportunities is being re-echoed as the world celebrates the 2019 International Women's Day.
If you go for an interview with a man, even if you perform the same with your colleague, they will first of all select that man before women. They will think of childbirth. During childbirth, they discriminated against me when I was looking for a job. So I know that Nigeria is coming up, but they have not fully arrived.
Let's provide equal opportunities, to both men. Let's have gender balance, even in technology. When we talk about women empowerment, gender equality, we are not saying women should come and replace men. No. We are just saying that things affect men and women differently. So, because men who feel as men, they may not understand why, for instance, we should have a crèche in the market. Things affect men and women differently. So let's have men and women work together so that no one is left behind.
The International Women's Day 2019 campaign theme is #BalanceForBetter. The belief that a society of equal opportunities for men and women is necessary for economies and communities to thrive.
Like the theme for this year from United Nations says, balance for better. And for this work, we say it's work for the balance, which means as women, we are really multitasked. Women will have to take care of their own husbands, children, business, home front, and a lot of things that have to cope with. That's why we need to take this work, special work, to balance everything up. Women need the balancing. Get the right women, put the round peg in the round hole. Let those women who have the merits, the capacity to do the job at the higher level of governance be really picked for this job.
Clearly, we're saying we want a 40% inclusion of women in governance. We're also saying that we want a resolve on the issues of multiple taxation because, we want ease of doing business. As women, we are saying we want a situation where all the agencies stop harassment of women in the marketplaces. Sometimes you see a woman with a small tray of goods. If you ask her how much that good is, probably about 1,000 or 2,000, and then a local agency would have collected money from that person, and then after collecting money, then they will come again and take their wares away, and then most of them will cry and all of that. We're saying stop harassment, provide for them, in everything that we're doing, and as such, it will help our nation. Let's not use them alone for political engagement. Let's ensure that their game and their lot is improved.
We believe that we're supposed to have an impact in society because if you notice that women form 50% of the workforce. If we form 50% of the workforce, I believe that we should have an inclusion in everything that's done in the government. If you have 50% of your workforce as women, you can use that to increase your GDP, which government is not making use of. And I also believe that if women are taken into consideration in government, if there's an inclusion, it will make a difference because I believe when women run, things go well.
We are believing that the government of the day would give cognizance to women and let us have our contribution into furthering the progress of the nation.
On the profile interview segment this week, I will be speaking with Comrade Oyinkansola Olasonye, the chairperson, Women Commission of Trade Union Congress, and the president of ASBIFI. She'll be shedding light on why it's important for women to be given strategic opportunities in the workplace. Take a listen. It's good to have you on the program, ma'am.
Thank you. It's nice calling.
Now, a lot has happened in the past few days and in the past few years, especially when it comes to women and women's participation in politics and also in the world of work. Now, my concern is the theme of discourse is balance for better. Now, can you tell us, as the president and the woman leader of, the Trade Union Congress and also the president of ASBIFI, can you share with us how would you rate the workplace, especially when it comes to women? Are women given the chance?
Thank you so much. The situation as of today in the workplace is that we are still having disparities. We are still having discrimination. But the unfortunate thing is that this discrimination is not as loud as before. It's now very subtle, that if you don't notice it. Now there is no discrimination at women coming to workplace, having been employed to work somewhere. There is no discrimination in salary. You can have the same thing as men. But when it comes to promotion, when there is vacancy, filling of vacancy, other responsibility that can enhance women, they are substitute intimidation and discrimination. So what people expect before is that, as a woman, we won't pay you the same salary, there is a discrimination of salary, there is we won't employ you, you cannot be employed here because you are a lady. If you are just married, you cannot be employed to work because you go for maternity leave, you are going to have children, all this. Now you will be given employment. But when it is time that there is a better position of responsibility, a higher grade, that is when they will now remember in-house that you are still a woman of reproductive year. So it's no longer as conspicuous as before. That is why this year theme is balance for better. We now realize that the first thing is to have the seat. Now you are to balance, to be able to bring innovation, new dignity of doing things into the workplace. Now we have more of mentorship. Now we have more of women that we can role model that we can look forward to. And now we have a sort of networking among women. We have a sort of relationship among women, unlike before that we said that when a woman is in a position, all other women will be against. So we have stopped allowing other sex, other genders to work against us in becoming our enemy. So we have been able to achieve that. We are not where we are supposed to be. Maybe we have just achieved about 40% of what it takes. But we are now balancing. Let us breathe in and breathe out on where we are so that we can look for our focus and see where now can we hit the glass ceiling better than we have been hitting it.
Okay, now as a woman leader in the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, and looking at the fact that you are the president of a financial sector, which most times is male-dominated, can you share with us what your union has done to ensure that employers of labor actually ensure they carry workers along, especially the female ones?
Thank you so much. If you look at the financial sector, we have more women in that sector than men. The area we are having issue is in the area of maternity leave. But unfortunately, most of us, even because we are trying to build our career, and because of the lack of employment, the mass unemployment that is in the country, a lot of people are also, and you know that most women these days now are no longer going for 5 or 6. They were staying at 6 kids, 3. So it is now, it is a bit that even on our part, we are trying to manage that. So the trap that will have been set, that, okay, because you are still in your reproductive year, we will now give you maternity leave. Most of us, we are now finding a way, because we don't want more than 1, 2, 3. We are finding, so the gap between the children now is not as close as before. So it has helped us in a way to reduce that risk we take when we go on maternity leave. But I'm not saying that there are some employers that are still not using it against us. And also, in my sector, we work more with the collective agreement. So in all our organization now, we have a negotiation, an agreement of, if I'm to go on maternity leave, what is the gap in between? If I am to do this, what is, so that there is a law now, a standard that is in place that we now work with. So it has made it a bit easier for us. But also when it comes to women and our work after life, now you realize that because we want to prove we can do it, most of us don't have enough time for our family again. Most of the time we don't have weekends, because in the financial sector now, it is when you close, it is when you finish your job. It is no longer that, okay, it is 8 hours per day according to ILO, according to all norms, so I will just do 8 hours and go. Now it is when you finish your job. So it is affecting our family more than ours.
So how do you balance it?
We balance it by trying as much as possible to have gap in between our children. We are trying to balance it that most of us now, when you are giving back to babies, you stay at home to try to be a nursing mother. Then after, when you feel that your kids are in a position, maybe your mother is around, maybe you have seen the boarding school somewhere you can put them, you can now go back to work in full force. That's why when you look now at the top hierarchy, women in top hierarchy of banks, insurance and financial institutions, you see that they are at the age of 45 and above that already are through with family life.
So is there any way you think the men also can assist in ensuring that both men and women actually have a more inclusive growth in the economy and in the workplace?
Yes. Like I keep on telling my male counterpart, that position of leadership is not gender sensitive. It is not because you are a male or you are a female that you should be leader. And I keep on also telling my female counterpart that everything you need to bring to world of work, punctuality, not taking unnecessary excuses, doing your job and doing it well, we need also to bring all this. So if we are able to have the balance, I can do this, you expect this, I believe we'll be giving more opportunity. But I also appeal to my men. They are all fathers. They all have daughters. They are all sons of a mother. And they are all husbands and sisters and brother to a sister. So what they can do to their own family, they should also do it to us at our work centers also. If you know that as a father, you are ready to send your daughter to school and come back and be, if she can attain the position of MD-ship, you want to encourage her to be there, then why don't you encourage somebody else's daughter at your place of work? So we are also appealing, like when we talk about girl child in my union, we are not only trying to take care of the girl child again, we are also including the male child, because we realize that, for example, rape, if we are able to convince the boys, the men, the impact, and let them feel that they don't need to rape, if we are able to convince them and let them have this understanding of the value of being a woman, you will see that bringing them to be part of it will reduce the risk of rape. So that's what we are trying to do now, is that we are no longer saying we want gender inequality, we only want it for ladies. We want gender equality for both male and female. We want all of us to be together so that we can do it together. If the men understand the women and they see us as their sister, as their wife, as their mother, then in the workplace, they will also want the best for us. So that is what we are working with now. So that's now when we have programs now, even if we are training the girl child, we want the male child to be there. That's why we also encourage mothers at home, that when you are in the kitchen, don't ask your son to remain in the sitting room. Let them feel the value of being a woman. Then they will learn to appreciate ladies better, even at workplace, at school, and in the society.
Now, according to the United Nations, it states that it will take about 170 years for us to actually close the economic gender gap around the world if we continue at this pace, because all over the world, we still have so many developed countries that don't encourage women to actually take position or to take charge or make top decisions when it comes to economic plans and the likes. And we know that in a developing society or in a developed country, we have issues that affect both men and women. Where do we get up from here?
The major problem, the major issue we have is the cultural setting and the cultural background. As at present today, there are still some part of the culture, what environment, that a woman cannot inherit properties. And it is right from the beginning as it was in the Bible. And there are still some part of the world as at today that even if you are a PhD holder, the day you are married, your husband may not allow you to work again. So in some culture, women cannot hold property. So until and you notice that even during our forefathers, when there is a farmland, it's only the local one that you plant edible foods that women are allowed to own. The local one where you can plant pepper, okra, and co. The one that you can plant the cash crops, cocoa, palm oil, rubber plant are owned by men. So this has been the foundation of women not having a serious impact in economic life of every nation. Until we start to treat the girl child, the lady, as the man. What stops a woman from going into farming? What stops a woman from having a factory? You should also notice that in our places of work, the way a subordinate reacts to a male boss is not the same way he will react to a female boss. And unfortunately, when the female that thrive to crave authority start trying to crave authority because the submission from the subordinates are not easily handled, it looks like the female boss is too bossy. Without tracing that, what I'm trying to say is that the respect that a male and even a female subordinate will grant a male supervisor is not the same thing they want to give a female supervisor. So everything is against a women leader. It's against us getting to the position of authority. But like I keep on telling people, respect is earned. If you are entitled to a sort of something and you are not being given, you earn it. You ask for it. You prove your authority. You prove your worth that you can do it.
It's good to have you on the program.
Thank you.
And it was a very interesting conversation I had with you.
It's nice speaking with you too. Thank you.
And that's all we can take on today's edition of the program. Join us next week for a fresh edition of the show. I am Sharon Ijason. Thanks for watching, and remember, labor creates wealth.